touring with the new Fairlady Z continues. Another shop I wanted to come and visit while I have the car is Advance. So my friends here at Advance have just picked up their own new generation Z, which is actually in the shop. And I just wanted to see what they've been doing with it. They've had it for a month or something, so it's still pretty basic, but I just wanted to hear from them, you know, how the engine responds to kind of initial modifications and what parts they've chosen and what the results are. And in the meantime, I think we're going to check out some of the cooler cars they have in the shop today. There's a few nice cars, both inside and also on the other side of the shop, that we'll take a look. So let's head in. And since we're in Yokohama, very chilled neighborhood, we can actually dump the press car here in the middle of the road. There's a nice Supra here. So these guys are very heavy on NK wheels, so a lot of their cars run NKs. This sick S15 build is actually owned by the mechanic here, and it's possibly one of the coolest S15s that I've been in and shot. I did a feature on this car years back. And you know, looking at it, you probably think this is a time attack build, but it's his actual daily driver. He takes his son around in it, so it's got a booster seat usually up front. And basic specs on this, if I recall correctly, it's a 2.2 liter top-mounted BorgWarner. Again, we have the NKs. These are the NT03R, I believe. Serious Brembo Motorsport calipers, front and back, I believe. Oh no, it's got 34. 2-piston calipers at the back. Lots of carbon, lots of aero. There's the baby seat. Kind of tight, but safe. And here's their new Z demo car. They're pulling it out, so you can kind of hear the custom exhaust in action. This is Masa. He's the second generation owner of the shop. His dad started the shop 35 years ago, so they've been operational for a very long time. And they're pulling up this Customer 35. So let's take a quick look at their demo car. It's finished in that really nice flat gray that Nissan does. Again, NK wheels. Full black interior, so it's a version S here in Japan. Not the ST like we have here. So if you look at this car, what really instantly jumps out at you is the red trim on the seats and the calipers, so it's not even the proto edition, and I just think it really does not match that yellow. Next to it there is a real deal NSXR, and apparently the owner of this NA1 has 2 of them, and he's actually looking for a 3rd one. I guess he must really like them. Again, on the NT03RRs. Amazing car. It's got 130,000 kilometers on the clock, so it's being used, and as you can tell, the owner does like to track it. Still has stock calipers up front. Let's not forget these cars are pretty light, so it's actually pretty balanced from factory. You don't really need to go crazy on things. It's just the fact that, you know, it's basically a $500,000 car, still getting tuned, modified, and driven. So here are the new NK wheels. The GTC02s, same wheels as the Supra's wearing outside, and they've dumped the stock exhaust in favor of a custom-built single exit. You can see right there. What really surprised me is the front braking. So they've upgraded that with a brand new caliper. This is the first time I see this. Is an Alcon Project Mu collaboration. It's actually a 2-piece lightweight magnesium alloy caliper, kind of inspired by the motorsport braking system, but not as high-end and expensive, although it would be serious money. And we can actually take a look at what the caliper looks like. There's another one here waiting to be installed. So, like I said, 2-piece, very, very light. 6-spot. Project Mu by Alcon. So there's some really nice stuff in this garage, including a box standard Altezza. I'm not sure what's happening there. But yeah, let's take a look underneath. The car is being lifted so we can take a nice close look at this prototype exhaust that they've just created. So the car went out for the first time at Fuji Speedway on kind of like a shakedown test 3 days ago. So they kind of put this quick exhaust system together. So it starts from the Y pipe right after the catalysts on each side here. It gets rid of the sub silencers in the way, straight all the way, and then it comes out only on one side with a tiny little brown silencer. It's not very loud at idle, but I'm sure it would scream once you start revving. So they've gotten rid of the separate springs here. This is the spring perch for the stock spring. So basically separated usually from stock. So I actually drove the NA2 NSXR when it first came out in the early 2000s. Honda gave it to me for a week, so I got to drive it. Actually took it down to Nagoya for a trip, did a couple of stories on it. I think if you go on Speed Hunters, you might be able to dig out that story, which I published way long time ago. But I actually never got to drive an NA1, so that's another bucket list car for me. It's just so fresh seeing it with modern wheels like this. And speaking of NA1s, Type Rs, like I mentioned before, there's another car sitting or being parked outside here. There it is. So it's a white roof version, kind of rare. That's what Keiichi Tsuchiya did with his back in the day. Another NSXR that they maintain here. So Advance is originally known for NSX tuning, preparation, race car prep, or rather track day prep. So for me, it's always been kind of like synonymous with NSXs, but as you can see, they do anything here. Like every time I come here, there's R34s, a bunch of Silvias. So a lot of stuff happens here. They cater to pretty much anything. Right, let's go back to the engine build room here. So this is where they assemble engines and do a bunch of other work. They have a press here, so suspension stuff is done here, bearings and bushes and all that. They have a HKS piston kit waiting to be installed in this EJ20 that's been taken apart. I'm not really sure where the donor car is. You can always recognize the tiny little cams. We've got a 13B here on the corner. Let's take a look at the FD on the corner there. Oh yeah, there's another NSX here. Again, same NKs, NTs, and BBS LMs here. Not an NSXR, but still a manual NSX. This is a very, very valuable car today. There's Alec shooting away. So in case you're wondering, Alec is the guy that takes care of all the B-roll and the editing for the channel. Here's another their demo car, this FD. I think I may have shot this probably 10 years ago. And one car you may have seen before is this Z34 Time Attack build. So this is actually built for Fuji Speedway, and I think we should probably ask if we can take a look under the bonnet. So it looks all black from far away, but if you get close, you'll notice that the hood, the pillar trim, the roof, the doors, the rear hatch, it's all carbon fiber. There's usually a massive GT wing at the back, and it's got welded in very serious looking roll cage with gussets on the A-pillar. And yeah, I mean, this is not really stuff you're kind of used to seeing in Japan. Usually it's bolt-in or bolt-in cages. Carbon fiber door that weighs absolutely nothing. So this is an Amuse hood, a bunch of Sabon parts, and then the roof was custom made here in Japan, and the engine. So still NA, it's got a still-in intake, airbox, or a pair of them. So it's been stroked to 3.9 liters and puts out over 100 PS a liter, so 400 horsepower. So it's the same as this car. Which one would you rather have, NA or turbo? And of course, because it's used primarily on track, endless monoblocks, 6 spots at the front, vented fenders. It's a very well built car. Must be a ton of fun. Raised forged rims at the back. And yeah, too bad the rear wing is not fitted. But I mean, potentially this could be 1350 kilograms with 400 horsepower. That's a fun car. That's a fast car. So this is his car. It's actually, so it's my bad. It's not a 2.2. It's actually just forged, but still 2 liters. And if I remember correctly, top-mounted Borg Warner. Here it is. 450 horsepower, but an insane amount of torque and very strong mid-range. So it runs R33 GT-R H-pattern transmission. So his pride and joy are these GT3 endurance calipers. So they're Brembos, but they're obviously built for motorsport, so they run the really thick pads. And it's possibly the most expensive part on this car. And like I checked out earlier on, it's got R34 Brembo 2 pots at the back. This sick 180 SX on R32 rims. And it's got a head-up display. All these gems from the 90s. You know, just kind of snooping around the shop, you can tell the type of work and the type of customer they cater to. So lots of S tires around. These are the Advan A052s, splitters, and another engine here in the room where they clean the parts. You know, and I really have to always say a big thank you to Masa and his mechanic, because they're always so welcoming. I always just drop by unannounced, and they're always very, you know, happy to have us just roam their shop for a little bit and check out the cars that the customers have left here for a few days to get work on. Okay, so that kind of wraps up our little stop by here at Advance. I just want to give a big thank you to Masa and his mechanic. He's always so welcoming. You know, I just show up unannounced every single time I come here, and they just, you know, invite me in, and I check out all the cars that our customers have brought, and it's always a really nice place to stop by and chat about cars. It's a Friday night, so we're going to take out the Z in Tokyo, get some shots of that, and hopefully I'll be able to wrap up this drive of this new platform from Nissan, kind of keeping in mind the tunability of the car rather than how it is stock. I've already noticed that it's very much an OEM, very factory type product that needs to be kind of enhanced in some way or form with lots of tuning parts like they've done with their demo cars. So I hope you enjoyed taking a look at Advance. I'm going to be doing a ton more shop tours like this, so make sure you check back, because there's always content twice a week coming on the channel, so check back soon for more.